Please stop screwing yourself over by choosing second best. You have everything you need inside of you right now to access a whole new way of being, and you owe it to yourself to live your best life, to create your rich life. What we need to accept is that not going for the life that we really want is a choice. It's a choice to give into and to be driven by our self-limitations, by our lack of awareness, by our fears. And like I said, there is no comfort now that is going to be big enough payback for the regret you're going to feel towards the end of your life when it's too late to make those things happen. I think sometimes we just need to be really honest and think about, like, are we taking for granted our life? I've used mortality motivation for several years now. Just one day having this awareness that, life is so precious, and in a flick of a switch, it can be gone. As you're taking your next breath right now, somebody else is taking their last. And so many people would give anything to have another day with the people that they love, another day to make a difference, another day to say, this is the day that I change. And that is the thing that really drives me. Some of you know that my dad has been fighting lymphoma and cancer now for several years. He's had radiotherapy for lymphoma on his face. He still has one in his neck, which is, a wait and watch. Over the last 4 years, he's completely had his bowels removed. He's had his gallbladder removed. Most recently, he got diagnosed with a tumour on his sacrum, which now means he needs a catheter. And that man wakes up every day and fights for his life. So he is my anchor. He's the reason that, if I get scared and I look at what am I scared of, that someone might judge me, or scared that I might launch something and it might bomb the first time, that's nothing compared to the fear of what that man goes through every single day. So I think sometimes it's really important that we take a step back and we ask ourselves about the validity of our fear, and would we be able to have that conversation with somebody like my dad who is effectively dying? Would we be able to verbalize and validate those fears and those excuses to somebody who was fighting that? And that's just my anchor. That's something that I use. And I would encourage you to think about how precious our time is here and how you want to live your life, and really ask you to raise your expectations. So how can you stop screwing yourself over and make today the day that you decide that you want more, and that more is the only option that you're prepared to take? I've got 3 super simple steps that I want you to implement to help you now to start activating that life that you want. And I'm going to help you to do this by accessing your logic as well as the power of your heart center, your manifesting center. Because what we do is, when we get stuck in the fear state, we're completely stuck in our logic. The way for you to succeed more easily and in a way that feels better for you is to kind of connect the heart and head. And that's what I want to teach you about today, because that was the biggest difference for me. I realized that I was completely suffocating in my own self-limitations. My constant internal conversation was about why I couldn't, or, what was wrong with me, or why it would always fail, or why I would only never reach this certain level. And I just started to do loads of research and learn on it. And it's really about, how do we create a subconscious program that supports this new life? Because most of us, we're not born with a program that says you can have it all. We're born with limiting programs, self-limiting programs. And so as we start to get vision boards and write our goals down, our program that's running on default in our head is going, that's never going to happen. So we have to be able to merge these two together in order for you to do that. And this is the best time ever to make these changes. This is the best time ever to create the life that you want. So the first thing I want you to do is, I want you to make a decision. In fact, I want you to make a declaration about what it is that you really want. I don't want it to be a whimsical ponder about, well, that would be nice and that would be nice. I want you to think about the things that you really want to have in your life. What I want to say about that is, for some of you, it is going to activate all kinds of fear mentalities and limitation. I want you to literally just imagine that as those thoughts come up, just put them in the trash can next to you and just leave them there. Maybe burn them later on. We're not going to give them any attention right now. We're just thinking about what it is that we really want. The easiest way to do that is to go through your key life areas and say, okay, what would I really want in my health? What would I really want in my career, my business, my mission? What would I really want in my relationships, in my bank account? I want you to tap into the feelings that you want to have in your life. Lots of you are going to want to put things on that list that are tangible, that are things. Maybe it's a certain house, or maybe it's a certain car. Ask yourself with those things, what is it about that you want that for? You know, does the big house in the country give you that element of freedom? Is it that you feel successful? Don't just do this as a superficial level. I really want you to connect in, what is it that your dream life looks like? I don't want you to get too caught up in the specifics. You don't need to know exactly where you want to live. You don't need to know exactly what the house looks like, because infinite intelligence, the creative matrix, has a bajillion more outcomes available to you than you can possibly think with your logical mind. Your job is to stay centered in the feeling of having those things and let the universe do lots of the work for you. Now, this isn't any kind of woo-woo stuff. This isn't about us just sitting and looking at vision boards and imagining driving that amazing car. It's science-backed. And you can get super specific if you want, but just know that there may be a better outcome available to you that you just can't access yet because your logical mind can't get there. So focus on the feeling of what your dream life is all about. To make it even more powerful, I'd like you to list it out, you know, as a list, or as just like kind of like written word. And then I'd love for you to do it in like more of a visual representation. So that's where maybe you want to get some pictures off the internet, or go through some magazines, or maybe you just want to draw it out for yourself. But activating both, you know, aspects of your brain by using the pictures and the visuals and the writing down. Now, I don't want you to spend any time thinking about what you've done in the past, how many times you've tried, why it all went wrong, why it's bound to go wrong this time, your self-limitations, your fears. We're not going to give any energy to that whatsoever. I want you to almost find yourself experiencing a cut-off. Cut it off, let it go, let it just drift away. It taught you what you needed to learn, and it's brought you to this space now where you get an opportunity to decide what you want moving forward. And this moment here and now together is our most creative moment. This is when we are generating the energy that aligns you with the outcome that you want. It's all about your frequency. And anytime we throw ourselves into the past or to the future, unless we're doing it for a visualization method, we have robbed ourselves of another moment when we could have been activating the frequencies. That's super, super important. So now I want you to create yourself a declaration of deserving. You deserve this. You were born deserving. You were born infinite in possibility and potential. It's just been your conditioning that has kind of knocked that out of you. And we're going to let all of that go. We've already let all of that other stuff go. We've chained it all up and just set it free. Let it drift away and bob away. You know, your soul deserves this. You deserve this. Your family deserves this. Now, here's the thing that I want you to do. I want you to do something that most people will tell you not to do. I want you to spend less time thinking about the end goal. So many people are so attached to that end goal that, again, they take themselves out of the creative energy moment to moment. And what we can forget when we are focused on the end goal is that the end goal is only achieved through the commitment to the small daily action. The end goal is only achieved by the commitment to the small daily action, and the energy and the intention and the consistency with which you do those small daily intentions defines how amazing that goal is, how quickly you get there, and how fulfilled you are on your journey. Instead, you're going to flip your focus to, if I was that person, what would I be doing? If I was a fit and healthy person, what are some of the things that I would do every day? If I was a successful multi-million pound business owner, what are the things that I would do every day? If I was in the most beautifully passionate, intimate, connected relationship, what would I be doing every day? You see, this is where people get it wrong. They think, when I get to that end goal, I'm going to be all those things. And it's BS. It's being those things on a daily basis, creating that energetic frequency that aligns you with the outcome day in, day out. When you live as if you are that person already, you start to rewrite your subconscious. So you're going to just write down a list of things that that particular person would do. Maybe that person would work. So let's have a look at health. Maybe that person would work out 4 times a week for 15 minutes. right? It's okay to start small and build up. Maybe they had a protein shake instead of cereal. Maybe they would walk 10,000 steps every day. Looking at somebody who was building or had a successful business, would they have a morning routine? Would they plan out their week like the week before? Would they have a gratitude practice? And all I want you to do is focus on a couple of those actions every single day. Most people will try and do 10 actions and they'll keep it up for a couple of weeks. They're exhausted, they haven't seen any real progress, and they stop and they go back to square one. That's insanity. If you pick a couple of things that you know you can do and you commit to the system rather than being so attached to the goal, you will keep those things going because you realize it's those things that are important. The goal can't be important if you haven't got the system to support the manifestation of that goal. I hope that makes sense. It's so important that you understand the consistency of the small things that makes the biggest difference. Now, the third step about this is I do not want you to buy into the subtle but powerful self-talk that says things like, well, start next week, or let's have a day off, or you know, well, one day won't matter, or whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, because it does matter. Every single action that you take or not has a consequence. But here's why most human beings won't ever make a change. It's because the consequence isn't immediate. That burger isn't going to make you put on a dress size. You know, that one I love you that I miss isn't going to end in divorce. That one sales call that you don't do isn't going to end up ruining your business. But when we do or do not do those little things over and over and over again, by the time we are in the consequence, the route to change is massive. Now, the only real reason this happens is because your ego, your identity as you know it right now, is trying to pull you back. It doesn't understand why you want to do this change. All we know is we can have certainty on our action. We cannot have certainty on the outcome. So it activates all these kind of fear centers in our brain. And so your ego, to keep you safe, tries to bring you back. But it doesn't serve us now. And I want you to be really honest with yourself. And when you feel yourself being pulled to do or not do something that is not in alignment with what you've said you're going to commit to, is to ask yourself, am I being the best version of myself right now? Or am I being drawn back into my old identity? This might feel comfortable now for me to take a step back and go back to what I know, because it does feel super comfortable. But how am I going to feel in 6 months when I'm still in exactly the same place? Do I want to change, or do I want to stay where I am? It's having those internal conversations that is going to encourage you to make better choices, or you're going to just make choices that keep you exactly where you are right now. The truth is, if you want more out of life, you've got to put more in. The only question you need to answer now is, will you choose courage and commitment now, or will you choose regret later? So it's super simple. 3 steps. I want you to get clear on what your desires are, write them down and have a visual representation. The second step is, what would somebody who had that, what would they be doing every day? And commit to 2 or 3 very simple steps that you can do every single day that's going to move you towards that. And the third step is not buying into that powerful self-talk that will try and bring you back to what you already know. Keep those commitment actions in. If you want a bonus step to this that's going to help you reprogram your subconscious, is you're going to connect in with the desire vision that you wrote down every single day for somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. You're going to read the desires out for yourself. Maybe you want to write them back down again. Look at the pictures. Spend some time connecting it in with the feeling. What that will do over a period of time is it will start to blend your subconscious with your conscious, and there won't be this disconnect with him anymore. So you're saying you want this, and your subconscious says, we don't have a program for that. Sorry, no can do. If you look at the visual and you read and you rewrite out the goals, you start to bring these 2 things together. So the brain goes, oh, this is what we're aiming for. And if you can't afford 5 minutes a day to make your dreams come true, then either you're chasing the wrong dream or you just don't want it bad enough. If you like this and would like to know more, be sure to check out the next video that I've lined up for you right here. And please do drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. And I'll see you next time. You can get more done if you do less. But most people think that productivity is all about output and time. And if you keep functioning from that place of productivity, you're going to find yourself left behind, tired, and exhausted. Today, I want to share with you 3 big ideas about how you can 10x your productivity